let's get even more focused. Let's take it one level deeper. Let's say you've got consumers who have been, with you for a long time and who are loyal, and they come in and they start pushing on things like price,
Right.
because they can go next door or CVS or wherever it might be.
Sure.
How do you handle that? What's the recommendation, that how do you train your staff to kind of have that conversation?
Right. I think there's a variety of different ways, and it depends on the individual customer. But I think to back up from that, I think it's that you pre-communicate, if you will. You communicate in advance to your staff and through your marketing, that you're a quality store, that you're carrying quality products. Because if we get into the price game, we've already lost. There's nothing that we sell on, almost very few items that we sell that can't be found cheaper. So if we get stuck in the price game, even internally, even in our minds, we're really sunk. It's a very slippery slope, and I know, for example, that many people, if they see something cheaper elsewhere, and then we might have it or anyone else might have it, they assume that the cheaper price is the correct price. I call that reference pricing, so that they refer to that as the price in their brain. In their heads, that's the price. And if we're $2 more, then we're gouging or we're upcharging or something, or we're wrong. Maybe we made a mistake. That comes up occasionally. However, it's really important for us not to get stuck in the weeds of price, because not all of our customers are that concerned about price. They respect what we're doing. We have a staff that has a great deal of knowledge, a staff that will work with customers, a staff that will, as I like to say, do awesome customer service. And so a lot of our customers are actually not that concerned about price. They may be aware or casually aware, or aware that it's likely that they could get it cheaper, but we can't focus our attention so much on the price-conscious customers. We certainly have people who come in and scan the products and or call and ask about pricing, and or actually the worst one, the one that I like the least, is when they pick our brains and get a lot of advice, and then we realize they're buying it elsewhere. Those are the only ones that really bother me. But if we're wise enough to know that's a lot of noise, but not necessarily the customers we're going to appeal to at any point. And so if we put our attention on those customers, it's like stores where you walk in and there are all these signs, know this, know that, know anything about returns, it's all negative. You turn customers off from the beginning. So we try to put out a message of great positivity to our customers. If we can market well and they come in our store, it's very likely we can sell them products. Yep. And we also make a point of not being, no one works on our store on commission, so we make a point of not being so pushy in our store that customers feel uncomfortable. And yet we also recognize that at least 90% of the people coming into our store actually want to buy something, and they actually want to buy it from us. And so it's our job to find those products, not to oversell, not to sell things that they don't need or we think are extraneous or maybe not even good for them, but to sell them products that they actually want to buy from us because they're looking for help with a health situation, or a loved one's health situation, or something like that. So it's an opportunity for both of us. It's really a partnership with us and the customers, just like it's a partnership with us and our staff and us and our suppliers, the people who deliver to us. I mean, it's really, we're all in this together. I mean, the common word is stakeholders, but we like to think of it a lot of as partnership and friends. And again, I bring it back to community.
Yeah, totally. Well, what I heard you say, there's two key things. One is pre-communicating quality.
Yeah.
And you do that through your staff, you do that through your signage, you do that through everything you do in the store, which I think is awesome. And then the other thing I heard you say loud and clear was perspective. Having a little perspective that this isn't all my customers.
Right.
And the 90% are who we're really playing to here, not the 5 or 10%. I thought that was brilliant. I hear a lot of retailers, kind of complaining or trying to compete on the price level. And you and I have talked a lot about how that's just not going to happen as things start moving to mass. One of the things we've talked a lot about is, and you and I agree on, I think, is building community is the antidote, right? I mean, that's something that the natural retailer can do better than mass.
Yes.
And that's really where the strength lies. So if I'm new in a natural retailer, I'm really struggling with mass slippage at this point.